Okay, this video is going to go over some of the basics of graphing in Google Sheets. Step one, I'm going to create a new spreadsheet. So while I'm in my Drive, I'm going to go to New, Sheets, and then Blank Spreadsheet. Next, I'm going to insert the data into the spreadsheet. If you're just making a simple graph, the information that you want on the x-axis should be put in column A, and the information you want on the y-axis should be put in column B. All right, I'm just going to paste in my data. All right. Our next step is to actually insert the graph. I'm going to click and drag to highlight the cells that I would like to make my graph over. I'm going to go under Insert and Chart. It's called a chart instead of a graph. A graph is going to pop up in just a second. Okay, so here's my graph, and sure enough, what I've put in the A column is on the x-axis, and what is in the B is now on the y-axis. It's a good start, but there are some things that I would like to change. The first one is what type of chart. With this data, I do not want a bar graph, I want a scatter plot. So I'm going to go to Customize. No, I'm going to stay in the Data tab, and I'm going to scroll till I see the type of chart that I want. And I want scatter plot. Next, I can customize the graph. And so one thing that I definitely want to customize is the title. Under Customize, you have quite a few options, but chart axes and title are what you're going to want to go to. So instead of saying this default, I can change this to whatever I want. And in this case, I'm going to go with the effective temperature on bacteria growth. I can play around with the title if I want to also. Um, you're also going to want to potentially rename your axes titles. In order to do that, under Chart and Axis Titles, I need to select the drop-down to find the horizontal axis title. And in this case, it is temperature, and it does have the units written behind it. So I'm okay with that. And let's go to the vertical axis. I'm putting a space in here, and then my units are going to show up on the graph. And I think a better unit would actually be CFU, colony forming units. So you can make edits right on this section to edit the axis label. So I'm satisfied with that. Some other things that I might want to change. Under series, I can add a trend line. So there's one option for a trend line. But in this case, maybe I want to change it to exponential trend line, which makes a lot more sense. But I'm going to keep the trend line off. Something else that I can change is the point shape. Maybe circles aren't enough. I can change it to stars. I can make them larger. Um, okay. Now we're in legend, and I've got a legend over here on the right hand side, but I actually don't need that there because the data is pretty simple. So I can hit none to remove the legend completely. You can also modify your grid lines, add more grid lines. Auto usually is going to work well for you, and you won't need to change that. For the vertical axis and the horizontal axis, you can add grid lines. When you're finished with your graph, you may want to share it. Clicking on the graph and then copy chart. And then wherever you would like to place that graph, I'm going to open up a new document. And I can paste that graph right into the document. Sometimes you may have issues pasting the document, so another option would be to save the image. I've downloaded it, and then once I'm in the document, I can insert image, upload from the computer, and then select the graph. So that's another option for you.